Hello, everyone. Welcome to NightMayr. Cue lightning sounds. Today, I think every episode we're going to dedicate it to one of our lovely studio sponsors. So today, we dedicate this podcast to Rocky Pintozzi, the lovely Rocky Pintozzi. Oh, look, I have so much clutter here. Okay, well, we're working on it. The studio, it's a work in progress. It's been very exciting to have live people right next to me talking about things. Episode 1 was Eric Nagel, the former operations manager of Compound Media. Episode 2, we just recently had Cecil in, the Cecil of Comicsgate, of Cash Grab Comics. And now we have an even more esteemed guest for episode number 3. He is an author. This was his first book that I have because I'm a good friend. And he's here to promote his second book, which is over here too. It's called The Children We Left Behind. Please welcome dear friend and author, Mr. Adam Coleman. And founder of Wrong Speak.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I didn't know you were such a good impressionist.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my God. If you do that voice for the baby, he will be obsessed, but also confused. He'll be like, I thought mean.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know that you're the first?
Swap Kermit.
You are the. I didn't know how to tell you this, but you are the first Black person the baby has met.
Well, you know what they say.
What an odd thing to say to somebody.
Once you go black,
he's never going to go back now. Well, it was nice knowing him. Yeah, exciting. We're just it's a good day, and he's going to be 1 year old next week. 1 year old. So very, very exciting times. But yeah, you can do a stellar Kermit the Frog impression. Frank can do a really good Elmo voice, like strangely good. Like he could be hired for Sesame Street. I try to do it too. I'll go like, Elmo says, let Mama change her diaper. And I just like, I break a lot in the middle, but it's weird. Like we're just like, does the baby understand TV or is it more just the high pitched voices? I don't know. It's strange.
Like when I watch like Japanese something, I don't understand anything that's going on, but I'm just looking at the colors and the weird sounding voices.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very good. Hattori Hanzo. Anytime I try to do a Japanese voice, it's just me like quoting Kill Bill. Hattori Hanzo. Oh, wiggle your big toe. Okay, we're not here to talk about impressions.
No.
We're here to talk about your new book. How does The Children We Left Behind does it? Oh, and Waffles is here. Waffles! What are you doing? You're ruining the interview. Waffles, how could you? Okay, well, okay. The flow has been ruined. Are you really gonna? Okay.
Yeah, she's good.
Okay. Oh, it's okay. You're a good girl. Okay, you can sit here if you want. Oh my God, she's like just.
She's hyped up.
she's all hopped up on pizza crusts. We just fed her a couple. I'm gonna try this again. Black Victim to Black Victor. It was a book that and I'm not just reading the cover. It was a book that identified the ideologies, behavioral patterns, and cultural norms that encourage a victimhood complex. Does The Children We Left Behind carry on the message, or does it break new ground?
It is very different. So some of the concepts within Black Victim, Black Victor, like the most important parts are revolving around family dynamics. And I do talk a bit about like my relationship or lack thereof with my father, but this expands on it where I'm telling like a much bigger story about my childhood, which, I'm not doing it like to have like a memoir. I'm using it as an example of what happens when you neglect children. Here's what they suffer through. Here's how they struggle. So I'm just using my personal story as simply an example based on everything else that I'm all the points that I'm trying to make throughout the book.
But you turned out great. So wouldn't people look at you and be like, "Well, what's so wrong with being raised by a single mom? Look how great Adam is."
Well, for one, it's an unfair situation for my mother to go through. Right, single motherhood we romanticize sometimes, but there's nothing heroic about having to bear the load all by yourself, the stress. And as I've gotten older, I understand my mother a little bit more. I'm more empathetic to what she had to go through. And there were times that as a kid, I was like, she's like, strong, like high strung kind of thing. And I understand now, she had a lot. She had a lot on her plate, and it was all by herself with 2 kids.
You have your
But
siblings older or younger?
my sister's older. She's 4 years
Okay.
older than me. But I would say that I turned out fine. But when you read through the book, you understand that there are many avenues where I could have taken the wrong turn, or I could have done something that you can't reverse. So I do have a chapter talking about suicidal ideation, and my struggles with it, basically since I was a kid, up until I would say like my 20s, struggling with it, and especially as an adult, like I could have easily made that decision and just said, "There's no more point. And there's no point in going on."
What kind of, like, for people that are listening that maybe went through something similar, what kind of perspective did you get? What made you kind of pull yourself out of it, almost in a sense where you like looking at yourself from the outside, like, hey, I need to make a change? Because sometimes people can get in that place and they just kind of have tunnel vision. They're not able to pull away from it long enough to realize, like, hey, I can change my circumstance. The what's going on now is not permanent. So did something happen that kind of woke you up?
Well, I've had many stages of my life. So the I think the biggest part was I had my son at the age of 21, and for like the first time, obviously it's like there's something bigger than me, and so I was involved in always been involved in my son's life, and wanted to make sure that he's being taken care of. So that means that I have to do better to make sure that he's taken care of, and not be like my father. And so,
And you were basically a kid yourself when you had him. Like 21 is like, that's pretty young, I think, to have a kid, even though it's, you're legally an adult, of course, and can do all the things except for rent a car. But but you can vote. You can serve in the military. But like anyone now, it's 21. You're like, oh God, something happened. Something was unplanned, I guess.
well, I would say that yes, I would say that's relatively young, but I think even more so, I just didn't know what a good father was, because I didn't have one to model. So I kind of had to be what I thought a good father was supposed to be. But I think the most important thing is being involved and caring and improving. And there's many things as he got older, I was like, I don't like this. I'm going to do this different. Discipline, as far as I took a stance at a very young age that I wasn't going to hit him. Like, there's no spanking. I don't need to. And I just, anytime that he messed up, we talked about it. I punished him in other ways, but I wasn't going to put my hands on him. And primarily because I remember when I was a kid, I already felt bad because I knew I messed up. You get yelled at. But I wanted to like teach him, right? And I think people forget, like, discipline comes from discipleship, right? To teach. And hitting a kid, what does that teach them?
I can answer that because I was hit as a kid. It teaches you to be just so afraid of your dad, and it's a fear that kind of like never really leaves you. Like, even as an adult, he would get mad at me for things. We get into arguments, and I would still have that, even though I know it's like, okay, I don't think he's going to hit me as an adult, but you still have that feeling of like, it's innate.
It's familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want that for him. So I didn't say to him, I'm not going to do this, but I just didn't do it. And if he messed up, we just talked about it. I tried to have an honest relationship with him. I do have an honest relationship with him. And so as he got older, it just became easier and easier. And he respected me, and I respect my son, which is why someone you respect, you don't put your hands on them, right? So if I love my wife, I don't put my hands on her, I don't hit her. That's not how you have a loving relationship. Relationships are relationships. So, by the way, probably the most controversial thing that I've ever gotten pushback on is this very topic, not to put your hands on your kids.
Really? Because the pro hitting crowd has a bone to pick with you on that?
Yeah, because I know I wrote an article for Dad Save America, and literally in the article, I listed what people are going to say. And why in the comments, everyone said exact arguments as to what they were going to respond with. One, they think that by not putting your hands on your kid, they think that you mean not to discipline your child.
Because isn't that funny that discipline and hitting really go hand in hand? Like, is it a boomer mentality thing? Is Gen X really hitting their kids? I don't think so. I think it was a big deal, probably like boomers and even further back. Mm-hmm. They all hit their kids.
Yeah. Well, and I think granted, I hate talking about a time when I wasn't around, but I think how they interacted with children was more from a distance. Go over there and do that thing, and stay away from us. That's the vibe that I always kind of got about older generations. And everyone survived. So they're like, well, they survived, so everything is fine.
And they weren't that close. Like my dad and I didn't really like talk about things. Like he didn't know my feelings about things generally. And he had an old school mentality because he worked his balls off. He was a landscaper and then a teamster, always working long days. And the sense was like, well, my mom's kind of in charge of everything in the house, which included the kids. Mm-hmm. And my dad was in charge of everything outside the house. So like all the yard work, fixing the roof, like anything. So he just, and I guess it was, not to fault him. He really did. He worked so hard to provide for us, and he probably just had no gas left in the tank. He came home, he'd like throw back 5 beers, kind of fall asleep, and then do it all again the next day.
Yeah. And I get it. I'm so when people read this, I want them to understand, like, I'm not being judgmental just to be judgmental. I am empathetic. Like, I understand life happens. Not everybody's in a circumstance where they can be everything, especially in a single parent situation. You can't. I've always said that being a single parent is a losing setup. No matter how much you love your kids, you're going to fail at something, right? Because there's just not enough that you can give. You can't be in 2 places at once, especially if you have multiple children.
You can't be 2 people at once. And I think a lot of like single moms feel like, well, God, I've got to be the nurturer and the disciplinarian. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like their own nature gets lost in it because they feel like I have to be double the parent, and I have to, be the dad too, basically. And I think that plus the struggle of earning enough money, like can really kind of like snuff out that softer side of a lot of women.
Yeah. And sometimes you go overboard. I can understand you work 8-10 hours, you come home, it's messed up on something, and you got to deal with that. And it's just like day after day. And then that's why I tell people, like, maybe you shouldn't hit your kids because you might take that frustration out on them, right?
Your own from your own day. Yeah. Not necessarily anything they did.
Right. I mean, granted, you're hitting them probably for a reason. They messed up on something, let's just say, in good faith. Well, are you going to be measured? And I've had people talk about, like, well, you don't, they like to try to mince words as far as hitting versus spanking.
Right. That was a big thing too. Like, it's like a cope.
Right.
Like, oh, I just spanked you, I didn't hit you. It's like, okay.
Well, yeah. Well, why am I crying? Because you hit me. Like, do we have to play like word games? Spanking is hitting. Yeah. Otherwise, am I hitting you right now? No, it's when you make contact.
Yeah.
And why are you tapping me? No, you're tapping me until I feel something that is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I just admit that you're hitting a child. So just call it what it is. And if you want to defend it, well, then defend it in good faith.
And say, well, we all did it. We all hit, and it was normal back then. Just like smoking while pregnant, and now we all know better.
Right. So, I mean, I just don't like it when people try to make it seem like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. And then the other defense is, well, they get defensive by saying, let's say if their kids are older and they spank their kids. So you say I'm a terrible parent because I did? It's like, I didn't say you're a terrible parent.
And they wouldn't say that unless there's a seed in the back of their mind that's like, yeah, you maybe are a bad parent for doing that. Like maybe there's another way. Like when they see people doing it a different way, they go, oh shit. Like,
right.
You mean I could have not done this?
Right. And I think the ultimate point of us even having this conversation, I'm just saying, have you exercised everything? Right? Because there are clearly drawbacks. There are dudes in jail who've been hit. Guess what? It didn't fix it. Right? And it's because most of the time children are reacting to something. Right? So if they're being defiant, well, why are they being defiant? And hitting might get a short-term result, but if you have to hit them all the time, clearly it's not working.
Right.
So you have to talk to them. Right? So if let's say you worked at an office and let's say this was allowed. Every time you messed up, your boss came and smacked you, right? But you don't know exactly why you messed up.
Then I would stop working for my dad.
Right, but you don't know exactly why you messed up or how you could not mess up. No one talked to you. They just came in the room and screamed at you and hit you.
You'd just be like,
right.
Which is how I was at every day job. I'd be like, your expense report's ready. Oh, God.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's ultimately what's happening in that dynamic. On top of that, you're like 3-4 times bigger than that child.
Right.
So I just want people to picture that. You're 3-4 times bigger than a child who's defenseless, who doesn't have full rights. They don't have a car they can drive away from you on. When they get old enough, they might run away. And that's a big sign that something is clearly wrong if your child is running away from home. So, I mean, there are real ramifications for the decisions that parents make. And so if they're making bad decisions, that also means that they can make good decisions. And so I'm just saying, is there a better way, right? Would you appreciate if someone came and talked to you or hit you when you messed up?
Oh, of course. Talk to me.
Right. And so would every kid. No kid wants to be hit. And
yeah, it's scary.
I think often what we're dealing with, and this is the other defense to it, we're dealing with people who essentially have Stockholm syndrome, who romanticize being hit when they were kids. They say, oh man, I was coming home and I was crying because I knew I was about to get my ass whooped. And my mom was standing there and she got a belt. Oh, that was hilarious.
But it's a way for, like, you do bond with other people who have been through it. And then we kind of brush it off, like, especially like, I think I do have a couple jokes about this, like in my set, but you say it to kind of, you bond with other people who were also hit, and you're like, well, that's what people did at the time, or you gloss it over by saying, well, they were old school parents,
Right. And I have a chapter in the book called The Culture of Excuses. There's all different types of rationalizations and excuses that the adults make, right? Because the adults used to be kids. So if their parents hit them, well, I love my mother, I love my father, they must love me. So that's a way of showing love. So they just repeat the same thing, even though deep down inside, they knew they didn't like it, right? But they're just repeating these things and they rationalize it. And I find that within parenting, especially this day and age, everyone's rationalizing their choices, but you only rationalize stuff that you know is not completely right.
Right.
If you're on a diet, should you have that cookie? Well, you know what?
Yes, if it's in the bathroom, no one's looking, it's nighttime.
It's been a week since I had a cookie. Like, you rationalize it, but you're only doing that's an extra step to make a choice that you know you're not supposed to do, right? And that's what I see over and over. So, like, the parents who want to get a divorce. Well, why do you want a divorce? Well, I'm not happy anymore. And it's like, what do they say to that? Well, if I'm not happy, my kid's not happy. It's like,
this is like why it's such bullshit. Yeah, getting divorced is bullshit, because guess what? You're not going to be happy 100% of the time with anybody you're with, married or not. You're just like, being happy all the time. It's like, it's kind of overrated. It's not the point of life. It's but that's become pretty trendy. Like that, women are encouraged to leave their spouses. Well, if you're not happy all the time, it's like no one's happy all the time.
Yeah. Because and that's the thing, when you become a parent, it's about sacrifice. It's not really about your happiness anymore. It's about your child's happiness. It's about sacrificing for your child. And granted, I'm not telling people to be miserable. I mean, there's degrees to everything. But if you're just chasing happiness, then that clearly sounds like you're not chasing things for your child. Right? Because your happiness isn't at the forefront. Your child's happiness is. And if you're rationalizing, saying, well, if I'm happy, then my child would be happy, you're once again putting yourself ahead of that child. And the truth is, kids don't understand relationship dynamics between adults. And no matter how many times you say, mommy and daddy don't love each other, and you try to make it childlike, they still don't understand adult dynamics.
It's their foundation and it's breaking, and they just don't know any other way to understand it.
Right. And if you think about it and that's what I was trying to do with this book, I'm not writing about it like I'm 40 years old. I'm 40 years old, and let me tell you about my childhood. I'm giving you the perspective of a child. I'm writing it like I'm still that child, so they understand like how you see things. And I'm doing that as like also an exercise. When people read this, I want them to say, if I was in that child's position, how would I see this? And what divorce essentially is, when let's say you're 5 or 6 and you grow up with mommy and daddy that live in the same house. Let's say you have grandma and grandpa that comes over once in a while. But essentially, your world is mommy and daddy. That's your entire world. And then one of them leaves. That's like the earth splitting apart for a child. And I don't think they understand that.
How could they? It's hard. It's
an
impossible.
No, I mean, I don't think the adults understand that.
Right.
See, the adults,
they're just thinking of themselves. They're just thinking, well, I can't stand this person anymore.
Right. And let me throw my kid into therapy and that'll fix him. And I'm telling people, like, these childhood wounds are lifelong. You mentioned when your dad would raise his voice, like you had that little girl response.
Oh yeah.
It's still there. It's just like a reflex.
Just a few years ago, we got into an argument, and I was like, "You don't even know what you're bracing yourself for, but it never goes away."
Yeah,
because you know that he's capable of doing that when he gets mad. So
yeah, and at this point, when you become an adult and you have to deal with all that stuff from when you were a kid, the best you can do is manage it, right? And recognize that it exists and try to manage it. And it took me a long time to recognize that these things exist. They're affecting me, and I have to figure out how to switch my mentality, how to manage these things. So these things are lifelong. And I just wish more adults would see the perspective of the child instead of seeing their perspective as the adult.
How could they do that, though? I mean, it's been so long since, us adults were kids. And how were you able to write from the perspective of a kid? Like, how were you able to access those feelings?
Oh, because, well, for me, I'm very introspective. I've always been introspective. I'm kind of an introvert. When I'm around friends, I talk more. But in general, I'm kind of quiet. I'm always thinking and stuff like that. So I've been like that since I was a kid. And I remember how I felt, especially, there are more traumatic events that I talk about within the book, if you want to talk more about that. But, I remember these things, and I remember how I felt, because they were so impactful for me. So it's very easy for me to channel those feelings, because not only do I remember it, but it's something I've been dealing with throughout my entire life. So I remember like all those feelings, all those emotions, and, and throughout much of the book, like writing about it is like, I got to cry it out, but actually crying about it allowed for me to write even better.
Are there any examples from the book that you can share?
Yeah. What was it? COVID messes up my timeline. I think it was like 9 years ago, something like that. 8 years ago. I was talking to my sister on the phone, and we were talking about something, and she brought up, she's like, you remember when you went to the hospital? And I was like, what are you talking about? as she's talking, she's making me remember these memories that like I hadn't
You
thought
had
about.
suppressed.
I just completely suppressed for a long time. And then it was like a rush.
How old were you when this happened?
I was 8 years old. Um, I, so people understand there was a lot that happened from the age of 6 to 8. We left Detroit. We went to Virginia. We were staying with family members. They didn't want us there. We left. We got our own place. It was a house fire. Then we moved to New York, to Orange County. And then we stayed with another family member. They didn't want us there. We abruptly leave. We're homeless. We're staying in hotel rooms.
Wow.
Then someone offered us a trailer to stay in. And then we finally got like our own place. And all that happened and with just, from the age of 6 to 8. And I snapped.
Were
Like,
you guys in school at all during this?
yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So I basically had like a mental breakdown, and some of the details I remember, and some of the details I was talking to my sister and my mother about, but my sister remembers me being underneath the kitchen table and like in a fetal position, just screaming.
Oh.
And my mom told me that, I came to her and said, if you love me, you'll help me die.
Oh my gosh.
And what I remember is being in the car, driving somewhere, going into a building, and my mother handed me off to somebody. And I was being admitted into a mental hospital.
This is at 8 years old.
Yeah. And it took me a little bit to realize like where I was and why I was there.
So you completely blocked out that you had even been to, what did you call it? Like a mental hospital? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did you go? Like, why were you sent to one?
Oh, well,
Because you said that to your mom?
and I was clearly like having issues. And the professionals, my mom's a nurse, so she went to the medical professionals and they suggested having me admitted. I've never blamed my mother. Like, I get it. So it's not, I'm not blaming her for me being admitted in there, but, that was just a circumstance. And once I got in there, I just wanted to get out. Like, I just wanted to leave, but I knew like you have to listen to everything they tell you to get out. And I think
Do you sleep there too?
Yeah. So the place that I went to, it was a locked facility. So every kid was assigned to like this massive room. We would have like group therapy sessions. And then in the back area were like these beds. I can't remember how many beds were, maybe like 8 to 10 beds or something like that. And, that's where we would sleep. But we were basically in that room all the time. And once in a while we would go outside. My mother would come and visit me. And when she would visit me, I didn't know if that was the day we get to go home. So like when you go to jail, you know how long you're going to be in jail for, right? But when you're in a mental hospital, like it's up to them to say when you get to go. And ultimately I was there for 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And, talking to my sister was the first time I heard like my mom's perspective. And because my sister's 4 years older than me, so she was 12. So she remembers everything much more vividly. And she would come and visit. And my sister said every time we would drive back home, my mom would cry, the entire drive home.
Oh, after how do you remember how often she would visit?
I remember frequently. It was either once or twice a week or something like that, but she would come frequently.
That's so hard to go like basically a week without seeing your mom.
Yeah. Well, same for my mom. It's hard for her not to see her little boy. But I recognize now that was, and I think my mother even said like after that, I was different. I was more like kept to myself and quieter and stuff like that. And I think I just learned to not tell people how I felt. So even like doing stuff like this is incredibly abnormal from how I spent most of my life. I was always quiet, always kept to myself. So like even speaking publicly is like just completely abnormal.
Wow,
Um,
but you're so good at it, and you do events, and wow.
yeah. But it's one of those things where it took me decades to one recognize that I had these things that were happening for me, where I was struggling. Therapy really helped me. I went to therapy a couple times as an adult for different things, but like the first major time I was having panic attacks at work, like just like a sense of doom would hit me.
I thought that was normal. I've had that at every job I've had.
Yeah. Ultimately, I went on disability for a little bit because of it, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I can't be on disability forever. Like, what do I do? And then one day I was like, I need to leave the house, but I felt scared to leave the house. And I was like, this isn't good.
Wow.
So it was starting to turn into like agoraphobic response, which is somewhat common for people who suffer from panic attacks. But after that, I was like, I need to see help. And then when I went to a therapist, I thought we were going to talk about my job and, what I can do. But it quickly went into like my childhood. And for like a month, I think I went like 3 times a week for like a month. And I was just bawling every time. Because I just had
like
so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just had so much I just never talked about, didn't think about it, just never addressed. And the therapist I had was very empathetic too, very motherly. And it was exactly what I needed at the time. And I think that allowed for me to, one, explore psychology and therapy and thinking about these things, but to actually like talk about it and resolve it and move forward in my life. That was a big help for me.
Would she kind of like pull stuff at like memories out of you, like help you remember, or you?
No, I never, one, I knew I needed to talk about it. And 2, I was just never in an environment where anyone cared, so she's like asking me, and the more I'm talking, the more I'm remembering. And then like, I remember how I felt, and I just started crying because I hadn't cried about it. I haven't even dealt with it. I just tried to act like it didn't bother me, but clearly it was affecting my life. So yeah, I mean, that's why I am an advocate for good therapy. I don't think you should be in therapy forever. You should learn how to manage whatever is going on in your life, address whatever is bothering you, but you should have like a time limit as far as how long you're in therapy for.
Yeah.
But I know that's becoming harder and harder these days because everybody's woke.
Oh yeah, I remember I had a therapist. I remember like asking her like, so when do I graduate from therapy? Is there like a ceremony? And I just got the feeling like there was always more stuff to work on. And I was like, wait a minute. But then finally over COVID, I fired her because she wanted to do it over Zoom, but like wanted to charge the same amount. And then she upped her prices, and she's like, I see this other couple and they make less than you and they can pay it. And I was like, that's it. I think we're done here. Oh, I think I'm cured. Look at that. I'm better. Was there anything positive at all that you got out of being there as a kid?
Where?
At that place, the Institute?
Oh no.
No, it was
I just
was
learned.
Little Orphan Annie there? Did you guys sing Hard Knock Life together?
Oh no. Honestly, I don't really remember many of the kids who were there. Like, cause I just wanted to go home.
Where was the facility?
It was I don't remember the exact town, but it's upstate New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do they do school with that? You're there for 3 months. You're 8 years old. Like,
so actually I do remember receiving, something from my class where it said like, feel better, Adam.
Get well soon.
Yeah. Get well soon. Cause they said like, oh, Adam's in the hospital.
You're like, gee, thanks. Like, somebody get me out of here.
But yeah, like they say to little kids, oh, Adam's in the
They
hospital.
didn't know what to say.
They don't know that there's a different type of hospital. They think I'm sick with something else.
Yeah, the teacher's like, well, they took Adam away in a wheelbarrow, and we don't know when he'll be back. Yeah, that's hard for kids to process.
Yeah.
That sounds just very traumatic, and I imagine you dealt with like feelings of rejection, and
Oh yeah.
it's almost like you have this stuff you're going through and you can't go through it with your mom or your family. It's like it's almost like I could see how somebody would struggle with like expressing themselves and their problems and feelings, into adulthood because of that.
Yeah. And I think the lesson you asked if I learned anything or did anything in there, I think the only lesson I took from it was that sharing the wrong feelings can get you locked up.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, I didn't go to an institute or anything like that as a kid, but I definitely got the sense that like my mom and dad really didn't like have time for my feelings were not important. It just was like, and my opinions and thoughts on things like, oh, you're cold, like big deal. Put a sweater on. Do you know how expensive the heat is? It's like, oh, you're hungry. I don't, it's just, and I don't know. I feel like a normal childhood, but then, yeah, I don't think I don't know, chat. Were you guys getting hit as kids? Put a 1 in the chat if you got hit as a kid. Maybe I'm just thinking it was more normal than it was.
I think there were a lot of kids who were hit by their parents.
My dad threw a chair at me once when I was 8 as well, but he missed. But you're still like, okay. Yeah, it was like, but I don't know, by this much. What, a foot or two? But you're just like, all right. And now that I'm an adult, I cannot imagine a situation where that would even be a thought that would cross my mind.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly it.
Because you know better. You're like, oh, I don't want to, it's not worth making however frustrated you might be is not worth like a lifetime of making your kid afraid of you.
Right. And I think that's...
Look at the chat. Look at all the ones.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at all of us. We're all in the club.
There's a lot of people. I mean, I think it's important for us to really put ourselves in our kids' shoes, Like you just said, you can't imagine that happening. Like, I don't care what your child does. Like throwing a chair at him.
He shit through his pants, my pants. He's put, I can't imagine him doing something that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's 1 now, so he hasn't really done too many bad things yet. Chris Church, thank you for subscribing. I see the little panda. Fealties added, little emojis, little dancing. And is that just to lighten the mood? You're like, here's a panda while you talk about this very deep subject.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a panda.
Someone in the chat is asking if this is my husband. Yes, Adam here is my husband. Surprise!
And she had a biracial baby.
That's why he tans so well in the summer.
And his credit score is not good.
No. But he will qualify for several scholarships when he gets older.
Not anymore. Not with this administration.
Oh, darn. That's unfortunate. Someone's mom hit them. Oh, I remember, my dad did the spanking and the hitting and the chair throwing, but my mom would once she tried to wash my mouth out with soap and just failed so epically that she never tried again, which to me was like a big W. I was like, wow. Because I remember her trying to like pry open my mouth and like she just couldn't do it to get the soap in there. It was a pretty cool feeling.
Isn't that like that's a weird thing?
Yeah.
You can put soap in a kid's mouth.
So it's very old school. It's a very silent generation. Now we know why they were silent, because they're always getting soap in their mouth. They're just like, stop it.
They're afraid of soap.
Yeah. I don't know. And I always really admired like the way that my husband talks to his son, because he has a 14-year-old son, like my stepson. And I got to watch him grow up. Like I've been in his life since he was like 3 or 4 years old, and I always like respected and appreciated the way like, and he was such a good kid. Like has never done anything wrong, but always like, we're having a tantrum or something, or all like all right, time to stop playing video games, but would always talk him through his feelings, like sit him down, just talk to him like a person. And so I watching somebody like do it the right way, and it's like they have such a great relationship now. So
yeah, I mean that's essentially my relationship with my son. Like a lot of people are like, oh, wait till they turn teenagers, and I'm just like, teenage years are fine. Like there's only one time I got pissed off at him, and it's because he didn't tell me the truth and he didn't have to lie, right? Because I always told him, I was like, if you mess up, just tell me so we can resolve it and move forward, right? But don't lie to me. You know, I don't lie to you, you don't lie to me. And you know, I scolded him for like 2 weeks because of it. But even when I did that, I explained to him why and why I was upset. And once again, I didn't put my hands on him, but I didn't need to because he respected me. And when you hurt somebody that you respect, that hurts deep, you know? So I could say stuff like that to him, and I could be on the phone with him telling him that, and I could hear him crying because he disappointed his father. And every child wants, especially young men, they want to look up to their father, right? They want to respect him. They want to be like him, whether they realize it or not. But you're teaching them. And so they're looking up to you, and it's like, oh, I let him down. So you have to tell them, like, I'm disappointed only because I know you can do better, you know, not because you inconvenienced me or you made me mad. I'm upset because I know you can do better than what you just did. And you didn't have to do that. And you need to straighten up because this is not what I've taught you. And, you know, so I think a lot of people focus too much on punishment and not enough on teaching.
Right.
But I do think that punishment is necessary when it's necessary. But to run to punishment without explaining to a kid, because you also have to think of mine. The human brain isn't finished developing to what, the age of 25?
I was gonna say 40. Some of you in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is 25.
It's something like 25. So you essentially have children who have underdeveloped brains and you're expecting them as an adult to think like how you think. It's like you told them to do something, that they're going to have the memory of you, like the memory that you have. They're going to understand the consequences of things like you understand the consequences. Like, they're not. They're going to fuck up, right? And so you have to be patient with them and understand that they're still learning. They're still going through things. And you have to tell them twice, 3 times, 4 times. And that it's not necessarily malicious, right? And if they're inconveniencing you, well, guess what? That's what being a parent is. Like, you're going to be inconvenienced. But what's more important is that you do make time to tell them over and over, because that's what love is. Love is patience. Love is kindness. Love is showing them how to be better people. Because ultimately, what's the point of raising children? The point of raising children is to create better people. I think that's the point, is that you're trying to teach them how to become an adult. And if you cut corners, well, you're going to cut corners on their prosperity,
right?
And how they're going to become.
What does Jordan Peterson say? Like, don't. I'm gonna ruin this in like chat if you remember exactly his wordage. Tell me, but like, don't raise a kid that you don't like or something like that. Like, make sure he doesn't become someone that you don't like. Yes,
yeah.
Which is so simple, but so good. And it's kind of like, you as a kid, you know, you grow up, you don't want to disappoint your father until you get old enough that you live your life in such a way that you don't want to disappoint God. And then that carries you through the rest of your life.
Well, the other thing I would say as like a tip for people is that raising children, if you want good teenagers, right? If you want a good 13-year-old, you don't start raising them when they're 12. You start raising them when they're 2. Right? You start disciplining them when they're 2. So the hard work starts early. Like, so your son is very young. For the next, how old is you? About a year.
He's going to be 1 soon. Yeah.
1 soon. All right. So I would say, like, between now and especially like 4 years old, if you put in all the hard work now, all you're doing is creating a pattern.
Like, start him doing chores like tomorrow.
Yes,
be like, look,
exactly.
I know you can't walk, but here is a broom.
No, like the disciplining, as far as being consistent, teaching them things, making them feel like they can do anything that they could do. Like my son, when I would wash clothes, he would want to pour the laundry detergent in.
That's the best part.
I was like, here you go. And that teaches them like, oh, I can do this. Like you give them like bits and pieces of independence, right? But you do that when they're young, right? You give them little responsibilities. You give them little lessons that are bite-sized. You communicate with them. When they mess up, you discipline them, right? You do all those things early. Because if you don't, that child...
They're going to eat all your Tide Pods. And those are expensive.
Yeah, if you don't do that when they turn 13 and then you want to start, then you're like, they're out of control. Well, guess what? They just spent 13 years with the same pattern of not being disciplined, not being taught anything, feeling like no one cares because no one even criticizes what they do or yells at them if they screw up or, shows them how to do anything. And so obviously, like we were talking about, hitting kids is bad, but also not disciplining your child is probably just as bad.
Thinking that you'll just be their best friend and
yes, I'm
a cool mom.
My child is my best friend. I will say that's only allowed when your child is an adult.
Right.
But
then you can be friends again.
Yeah. But yeah, don't do my child's my best friend and I confide in them even though they're 12.
What are you looking up right now, Fealty?
It was from a movie called Mommy Dearest where she hits her kids with wire hangers.
Oi.
She didn't want wire hangers in the house, and it's just funny the way she
Why?
yells.
Is it like a Planned Parenthood reference or something?
I'll pull up this one. This should be
did she have an incident at the dry cleaner?
No, the way she yells, this scared me as a kid.
Oh, really? And now you're going to scare us with it?
And then she hits her kids with the wire hangers.
So what's her deal? She just, from an aesthetic perspective, she doesn't like them?
She's just crazy, but like when you talk about like hitting kids, like growing up,
Were you hit too, Fealty?
Oh yeah, I was.
Oh yeah, welcome to the club.
I was hit, quite a few times, but like that movie was always what my parents would say, like, bring up like, you don't want to like this, like at least you don't have this.
Oh,
like,
that's worse.
Yeah.
The way we hit you is good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
That's so crazy.
But yes, do the work now. Your son's young. Do the work now.
I have to work on that.
Later.
I am not a good discipline type person. I'll wipe your butt in a Target. I will teach you to fold laundry. I just that's what Frank is good at. But I should be good at it too. So I don't know why.
Well, you know what? Here's what you do. Frank is the disciplinarian, but you back him up. Right?
I'll be there with a sandwich. Be like,
no,
good
I mean,
job, Frank.
Like if he says, no games, and your child comes to you like, can I play games? Like, what would your father say?
Like, you heard your father?
Yeah, exactly.
Now here's a book. Read the whole thing. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that part of being a parent, but I think I have a little bit of time. Yeah, I just don't want to be mean. I don't want to. But no, you got to do tough love too. Because they can't be a pussy. So
no, you don't have to do tough love. You just have to, whatever you say is where you stand. Like another issue is if you say no, you can't do it, and then 5 minutes later you're like, fine, you can go ahead and do it. Right. Then you're not standing by your word. So you have to be consistent. You have to stand on your word. If you say no means no, and that's it. Because as soon as you start shaking, kids can smell that. And so they're like, yeah, she said no, but she'll let me do it. Then you're not showing like true boundaries there.
They can't take you seriously.
They can't take you seriously.
Right. And then you have to be like, no, I mean it this time. And they're like, okay.
Yeah. Why should I listen to you? Right. Because at the end of the day, the reason why like being your child's friend doesn't work is because you're an authority figure. Right. So like, I'm your friend. I can't tell you what to do. I have no authority over you. And that's a bad position to have a child to be your equal. So you never tell them what to do?
Yeah, who's in charge then?
Who's in charge? Right? And you're letting the child who knows they don't know what they're doing to just do whatever they want to do, children interpret that as you don't love them.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because they don't even care. Like, you ever see like the kids who smoke weed at home because their parents say, well, at least they're smoking in the house and I know they're safe. They say stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
That child thinks my mother doesn't even care about me to even tell me not to do it.
It's almost like they're doing it to get caught. Like they want to get yelled at.
It's a way of, I think how children typically interpret it is that you don't care enough to discipline me. You don't even care what I do. Like if I decide to go out here and just sleep with a bunch of guys, you don't even care. Imagine having a relationship with someone and they don't care what you do. Like your
Right.
husband, if you're like, I'm going to go out and sleep with 10 guys. He's like, do whatever you want. That's a weird position. The person that you love, that you have a relationship with, doesn't even care if you go out and sleep with 10 guys.
I'd be like, at least I'm not Bonnie Blue.
Right. But you would see that and you could understand, like, he doesn't care about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you should be like getting jealous
Right. Because there's
in
a
a
boundary.
healthy way. Yeah.
Right. And it's the same thing with a kid. If you tell a kid, oh, well, everything is acceptable. Yeah, just smoke weed and do whatever. Drink here. Bring your friends over and do it here. They're going to be like, they don't even love me enough to tell me no. Like, they don't have any boundaries for me.
And it takes away the fun of sneaking out and doing it behind their back. Like the one party I had at my house growing up, like in high school, like I almost got away with it too.
If it wasn't for you,
If it
pesky
wasn't
kids.
for you, Scooby-Doo. No, it was because Brian Riley left a backpack in the middle of the basement full of beers.
Fucking Brian.
Ah, Brian, if you're watching this, I don't think he ever came back for his backpack.
It tells you that
It had his name in it.
he didn't really care about school, did he?
No. Oh, Brian.
Yeah.
Also, there was a crack in the door and the door frame leading to the basement. And I should have known. My dad was so anal. He would like look at everything. He'd be like, the wood is slightly different. Because I think somebody like bashed someone's head into it. Big deal. Nobody died. We had a great time.
Did you get in trouble?
Yes. But I don't remember like how I would like, was I grounded? Maybe. Yeah, it was more just like, my dad like yelled at me because this frame like door frame was cracked and something else might have been broken. But really overall, for as many, and that's what I told him, like for as many people were here, like you should be happy there wasn't more damage done, and that did not make them feel better. They were taking my sister to visit college, like up in Binghamton, and it was like my one shot. It started out very small. It was just gonna be a few kids, and then of course it got out of control. Everybody told everybody, but I thought that was like a compliment to me. I was like, wow, I'm more popular than I thought. How cool. But then you realize it's just about the house.
Yeah.
So they were like rolling up kegs. I'm like, this is like a movie. Yeah.
And in the movie, the kid hosting always gets screwed.
Yeah, like that's the fantasy room.
Right.
Sign my yearbook. These are memories frozen in time, people.
Yeah.
Some can't hardly wait.
I'm going to bang on their parents' bed.
Did anybody go upstairs? No, I don't think anybody went upstairs, which was shocking because I grew up in a small house and I was just like nervous about it. But they were all like outside, mostly in the backyard. I remember I stayed up till 2 or 3 a.m. picking up individual cigarette butts like out of the lawn, the backyard, and the damn backpack. Oh well.
Yeah. I didn't have that many friends to even invite over when I was a kid.
I didn't either. I really was like not a cool kid, but I lived on the same street as Karen Wexler, who was a cool kid.
Karen.
And they caught wind, and then there were several cool people at this party. I don't know. It was it was a great time.
So would you say it was worth it?
Yes, it was worth it. I think I managed it really well. No one got hurt. No one like threw up. Nobody like needed an ambulance.
You got lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Got lucky.
And I remember there there was a boy who like stayed. He like wanted to help me like clean up. I was like, but everything's already cleaned up. Oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Out of my house.
Take a sip of this.
Yeah. Hennigan's. I just had 3 shots of Hennigan's and I don't smell. Do you know that Seinfeld episode?
No.
Oh, God.
Wait. Yeah, tell me, because I watched Seinfeld.
I don't know why. Jerry always had a bottle of Hennigan's scotch in his house, and then I don't know why the Kramer came over. They're like, Kramer, will you take a couple shots and let us smell you? He's like, you can just smell me. I don't have to take the shots. But I don't know what the reason was for that. Oh, they were like discussing whether or not you can smell if someone's had one drink.
I don't remember that. And I've seen a ton of Seinfeld.
We fall asleep to Seinfeld every night. Like, I have these episodes now kind of memorized by heart. Even the baby, like, he falls asleep. It's like, bow, 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 bow. Like, it's always on. I'm wondering if that's going to be good for him. But how did we get on this topic of house parties?
I think you talk about disciplining the kids and stuff.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes, being a good dad and such. Which book was harder to write? This one seems more personal.
Yeah, I would say Black Victim was harder to write, only for the fact that it was the first thing that I attempted to write. That took 9 months. But it was like, it was writing and it was figuring out like what kind of tone I wanted to have. And then the more I wrote, the better at writing I was getting, because I was writing every day. And so after like 3 months, I figured out the tone that I wanted and the writing style. And so I actually had to go back and rewrite much of what I wrote. So that's part of like why it took a little bit longer. And then, yeah, from start to finish, it was about 9 months. But I would say, I think it was like 2 months of editing, something like that. So I would say like seven months of me like writing, just straight writing.
Wow, that seems pretty quick though.
Well, this is even faster. It was like 3 months.
Whoa.
Because I write all the time. So, I can write like in a Word document, 1.5 to 2 pages, let's just say like 900 words. I could do that in like an hour and a half. So I can write pretty quick, but I'm like, I get everything out and I got nothing for the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. So I can write quick, but I don't have like a stamina. I have to like keep thinking about it, and then
you're a sprinter.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a writing sprinter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just, when you write a book, you just do it every day. So that's what I did. Basically 7 days a week, put about hour and a half, maybe 2 hours max. Although there were some days I would do some in the morning and some in the evening, but mostly it was just like once a day, just attacking it. And yeah.
How Western culture rationalizes family separation and ignores the pain of child neglect. Oh, is this you? You were a Boy Scout?
That's right.
Oh, look at that. Oh. What like level Boy Scout did you make it to?
I went from Cub Scout all the way to Boy Scout.
Did you become an Eagle Scout?
I did not.
Is there still time? Could you go back?
No, because I don't like knots that much. I don't really care about that. That was, you know what it is? When you make it to like, how old was I? 11, 12 or something like that. I can't remember when I was finally like, I was sitting there trying to do knots and I was like, I don't care about this anymore.
Like, I do not care about
this is gay. I'm getting out of here.
I'm not into this.
Yeah.
My brother made it to Eagle. I think his Eagle Scout project was like he cleaned up some trash like in the backyard of the church. It seemed pretty easy to me. Although I think I was I kicked out of the Girl Scouts, or maybe I just stopped. I ended up there were a few cookie incidents where I would just eat the orders.
Oh, let me tell you. My mom used to have I think she was a troop leader. But I remember there were times I'm like, the cookies will come in, and I don't think we delivered them.
Something happened.
And no one ever asked.
There was an address mix-up.
I think people, because they would be like, oh, all right, we'll get you these cookies, and it's going to take a month, however long it took back then, like a month or two. And I think people just forgot they
Yeah,
order
it seemed
cookies.
Didn't it seem like you had to wait forever to get Girl Scout cookies?
Yeah.
And that's still the case, except now, like, I don't know. Do you think the fact that it's come out that there's glyphosate and like all these horrible chemicals in the ingredients of cookies is going to like phase people? Do you think?
No.
No, they're just kidding.
People want to eat
They're
cookies.
like, bring it on. They are so damn good.
Yeah.
People are gonna be like, well,
And Girl Scout cookies are legit good.
they are the tag-alongs. Oh, wait. What's your favorite one? I'm about to judge you harshly based on your answer.
You know, I'm trying to remember the name. What's the I'm trying to remember which one I ate
Are you
the
about
most.
to
I
say
think it was the
Do-si-do?
tan. What's the tan one?
With peanut butter in the middle?
I think so. It's been
Those
decades.
were do-si-dos. Although the ones that were
Maybe it was do-si-dos.
chocolate covered with peanut butter in the middle, those were tag-alongs.
Nah, I'm not a
With like kind of a
chocolate eater.
mushy like top center, and then the coconutty chewy ones were the Samoans. Samoas? No,
He said
that's a
Samoans.
people. Then there's do-si-dos, which are like the peanut butter ones. There's Thin Mints, which are the lamest cookie in my opinion. Like if your favorite Girl Scout cookie is a Thin Mint, that means you're lame.
Yeah, that seems like.
Oh, they're good in
wait.
ice cream. Ugh,
I think it was the do-si-dos. I think that's the ones that
peanut
I
butter
would have.
sandwiches. Wow, what a wholesome cookie. That says a lot about you that you like the do-si-dos.
Yeah.
The trefoils, the traditional shortbread cookies. Made in the shape of a Girl Scout trefoil. What even is a trefoil?
I was about to ask that.
I don't know. I thought they were like maybe hands together.
Are we saying it right? Is it trefoil or trefoil?
God. I thought trefoil. Who knows? S'mores, that's new. That's come out since I was in the game. Toffee-tastic, that's another new one. Caramel chocolate chip, we didn't have that. Lemon Ups.
By the way, the way you said that was very Long Islandy.
Toffee.
Toffee taft.
The Toffee-tastic. You taste the cigarette. Adventurefuls, that doesn't even sound like a real thing. Brownie-inspired cookies with caramel. That's too much. You're trying to do too much. You can't do brownie and caramel. Wow. No, back in my day, you just had Thin Mints, Samoas, do-si-dos, tag-alongs, trefoils, and maybe a lemon one for like your loser aunt or grandma. Order me a box of the lemon.
Yeah, I'm not a citrusy lemon. Very rarely. Yeah,
I'll
not in a
take it.
cookie.
No, I used to be like a dessert purist. Although I have moved from being a chocolate person in my college years to now I am more of like a fruity, vanilla-y, coconutty dessert person. I don't know what happened.
That for like 2 seconds, that sounded like your preference in men.
It is.
I was a chocolatey person in college.
No, I never unfortunately had no chocolate ears. Unless you want to stay after the podcast, Adam. Just kidding.
Michelle, she does not mean that.
No, of course. I would never. Oh my goodness.
By the way, I make fun of my wife's accent because she's from Brooklyn too.
Does she have a very Brooklyn accent?
Oh yeah, father, mother. Yeah,
Oh,
she
boy.
does all that.
But it makes her sound tough.
It is the best accent.
Okay, I'm very excited. Do you know that when does this book come out? Soon, April 1st, I think.
Yep, April 1st.
Wow, where can people get it? Amazon?
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or they can, if they don't want to give Jeff Bezos money, they can go directly to wrongspeak.net, and you could purchase a copy there. I also have a bundle on there, so if they want to buy both books,
A bundle?
yeah, at a discounted rate,
Oh,
They
wow,
can
you
do
can
that.
buy both at once?
both at once.
Catch up, people. Buy them both.
A menage a read.
But there's 2 books.
That's right. The reader is the
The
third.
Menage. Ah, wow. You could do double, one in each hand. Read them both at the same time.
One of them would be the stranger.
Are we in the chat still talking about cookies? I'm interested a little bit in these people vandalizing Teslas.
Oh, they're wonderful.
It seems and like liberals are so dumb for so many reasons, but like, how do they not know that the most modern car basically on the market is not going to be covered in cameras?
I don't know. Clearly, they don't know anything about Teslas. They just don't like Elon.
No, and you know what? This vitriol used to be reserved just for Trump, but it was such an overwhelming majority of people that voted for him. They're kind of like, well, we're kind of idiots if we continue this. They're just pointing the TDS at Elon.
Well, now they have a physical target. Like, these people still hate Trump, but there's nothing like, what are they going to do? They're going to burn some hats?
A Tesla, store is more accessible.
Exactly. Tesla store is accessible. Or the Tesla car is accessible, so they can take out their anger on that, in extension to Trump, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, actually, if you can pull up my Twitter, and my Twitter timeline, did you see the guy who's on the scooter who rammed into a Tesla?
No.
So, scroll down. You'll see.
Hey, it's us.
It's us. A little bit further. Right here. Right there. So.
Is it Jordan Peele?
Yeah, because his name, it sounds like the East West
Demarquan.
Demarquarian Crocs.
Is this the guy who did it?
Yeah. So if you click on it, you'll see.
Hold on. The man who was seen ramming a parked Tesla Cybertruck on a four-wheeler has been identified as 33-year-old that's a name. Demarquan. Demarquion Cox. People just be throwing letters together and calling it a name.
Demarquion Cox.
Demarquion.
LSU.
Why? Because it sounds like, does that sound like a basketball player's name?
Yeah, it sounds like the have you seen the Key and Peele skit, the East West?
No.
Oh, that's why it's going over your head.
Oh.
Oh,
this
man.
was not the only Tesla Cox allegedly rammed. What? Wait. Is this a dirty tweet?
No.
Police say they started receiving reports of an extremely obese man ramming into parked Teslas. As the reports came in, an officer spotted Cox. Before questioning him, Cox gave a fake name. His name sounds fake. Before officers took him into custody, according to the Texarkana Police Department in Texas, Cox currently has a single felony for criminal mischief and failure to identify.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's play it. I can't hear it.
I don't think there's any audio.
Oh, it's a silent film. Oh my God. What? Wow, that's a lot to take in. This is amazing. This is like a cartoon character. What does he think is going to happen?
Well, it looks like he left a dent.
Also, the Red Door store has completely stolen the look and font of FedEx. Look, it's the same
Dance Academy.
Yeah, it's like they took the same font anyway. So they're just ramming into the. I doubt that even left a mark.
I don't know what kind of Tesla it was.
It's probably ram proof. It's probably scooter proof.
It could have left a mark. It could have left some sort of dent.
Oh my God, how hilarious. Yeah, God forbid this person get up and key something. Like, just getting up at all is a problem.
It looks like Sherman Klump.
You know what it is? This person was just rejected from the Red Door Dance Academy and had to take out his rage on the Tesla.
Oh, Tesla.
Hercules. Oh, I love Elon Musk. Wow. Is this on a loop, or is this how many times he rammed into the car?
It's on a loop. I was waiting.
Wow, like he keeps doing this. And this is Demarquion.
Yeah.
He pulled the Demarquion.
Are we able to play the East West, the Key and Peele? Because I feel bad. Because
I need.
there we go.
I need some context.
Yeah, I already had it pulled up.
Oh, he's very good at his
We
job.
might get struck, so I'll just cut this out and post if anything.
Okay. We'll comment on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
East-West Bowl 3.
Welcome to the 2015 East-West Bowl Pro Edition. Of all the All-Star games in professional sports, this one is sure to be the most extravagant.
That's right. These players were selected by the fans, too.
This must be a new one.
These characters are the creme de la creme.
Creme de la creme. Clemson.
Ha Clint Dix, University of Alabama.
They actually got him.
Marshall. Legume Dupree.
Legume.
University.
Lijay Douzable, University of Central Florida.
Quisperney Goudon's on
Grunky Peep.
Oh shit, this is funny.
Ferguson.
DeBrickashaw.
Oh, they actually got real football players.
Strunk Pluggett.
Yeah, I do believe that DeBrickashaw is a real person.
Yeah, DeBrickashaw.
No way.
DeBrickashaw's a real guy.
is a real person.
I think he played for the Giants years ago.
That is so funny.
Oh my god.
Oh, I get it now. That is funny. Drunk Pluggett. God, I want to watch the whole thing. But I get it now. He has like no neck. Drunk Pluggett.
I took it down.
Oh, fun.
What's that guy's name again?
Jordan Peele.
No, the guy who rammed into the car.
DeMarcushaw.
De-
DeMarquion. DeMarquion Cox.
I think you're right. DeMarquion Cox, yeah.
DeMarquion.
DeMarquion Cox, LSU.
We should meme it like it's like, oh, you pulled a DeMarquion. That's mean like if you're just like, if you made no impact, if you're like kind of fat and you did something and you didn't make a difference, you did a DeMarquion. Like if you're fat and you just like, I had a side salad with like an otherwise very unhealthy meal. I'll think about it. That was funny. Oh, so now there's Tesla dash cam, which interestingly enough, this account was created in May of 2024, which I think is right around the time Elon started doing rallies for Trump. Maybe because he knew, or whoever set this up knew that it was probably only a matter of time before people come after him. Look at this first video here. People love Tesla because it's not just a... Oh, this is a commercial. It's a commercial. Are they retweeting vandalism videos?
Yep.
Tesla model.
3 hours ago.
Wow.
But you know what's great? People are actually getting prosecuted.
Wow.
They're getting arrested like that. The Merrick Cox, DeMarquion.
DeMarquion? He's getting
DeMarquion.
prosecuted. Are they going to take a scooter away? Dang. Yeah, people think they're slick and they go, "Oh, I'm just gonna key a little car." Well, this is not that video, but
Yeah.
that one
This
they
is
did
one,
they
yeah.
did the sly walk and key maneuver. Like Cybertrucks are ugly enough. Why do you have to key them as well?
They are hideous, right?
They're the most disgusting cars. I don't feel comfortable in a Tesla. He's like, I'm going to key it from the inside.
2026, bro. It's 2025, bro. How you got a 2026 Tesla, bro?
Bruh.
Bruh.
Really? God, bro. It's a car.
It's almost like a tick at this point. Bruh.
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 Bruh. And I just realized I was about to say it's not even 2025 yet. But it is.
COVID messed up our timelines.
Yeah, I'll never recover.
Bruh.
Bruh.
Oh no. Not you too.
No.
Oh, she spit on
it.
Ah.
She hawk-tooed it. So lame.
Can I tell you?
Can you get prosecuted for spitting on a Tesla?
Probably.
What is he emptying out a soda? Oh, you think you're so much better in your Lexus. What did she do? What did she do? Empty a bunch of lemons out? She threw a bunch of sliced lemons at the car? What is that?
This seems very...
Oh, it's like a shot of espresso. Is it coffee? Ice cream? Smoothie?
I don't know.
I think it's a dipping sauce.
Oh, no. That's the worst.
Yeah, it looks like
A
a dipping,
dipping sauce. That's horrible.
You just have that accessible?
Who just has dipping sauce in their car?
For a second, I thought you were going to say, like, it was, like, the dip, like, because she chews tobacco.
Oh, that would be...
Oh,
That'd be the worst.
She'd be like, ding. So lame. At least do it with like I don't know, a drill. Like really commit to it.
I'm going to spray paint it. I'm going to write.
I'm a bad boy.
I'm going to write some.
Right, Elon sucks.
Yeah, that's original.
Or Nazi. Wow.
Great job.
You
You're on candid camera.
You solved all the world's problems by doing that.
That's why you ride a bike, not driving.
If he was really slick, why would he have just like sprayed it whilst driving by? Right?
He doesn't have the
He
coordination.
doesn't know cursive.
Oh,
If you've seen this woman,
is that a woman? Looks like a dude. Is it a woman? I can't tell.
I don't know. His bonnet is over his face. Unbelievable.
I can't tell if that's like they're riding a bike because they're a drug addict or
He looks like a
or they're
DoorDasher.
environmentalists. I can't tell.
Looks like a DoorDasher / environmentalist.
Could be both.
Oh yeah.
No, not Granny.
No, not you.
Granny.
Not you, Helen.
Oh,
we got-
listen. If we'll lock up January 6th, grandmas, we'll lock you up.
So hold on, she's got hiking poles in a parking lot that's completely flat. Look
That's
at her.
because it's a weapon.
Or is it part of her elaborate ruse?
Yeah, she's waiting for a moment.
She's like, oh, I need to. Ooh, I got my key out.
That's right. I'm gonna write a very
Ooh,
angry
she's
letter.
doing like a Charlie Brown zigzag
All right.
motion. Unbelievable. That's what I think of your handles that don't pop out. What a twat.
And you know what? There's no age limit on prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
Get her.
Wow.
I feel like she did actually put that in cursive, though. They all.
Yeah. Because they're the last generation of.
That's it.
My grandma had great penmanship. So did my mom. There goes Jamiroquai. Poor guy.
He fell off since LSU.
That's funny.
What's this guy?
I don't know. He's in a hoodie.
That doesn't look suspicious whatsoever.
He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. He's getting his keys out. What? You're trying to light the handle on fire? What? What is that going to do? Just a hot handle? I'm going to give this guy the old hot handle. Losers. Loser.
I think you forgot how fire works. I don't know. I don't know if lighting metal.
He's like, ow,
works all
ow,
that well.
it burns, ow. Stupid.
It's going to be kind of difficult. You're going to need more than a lighter.
You know, this is only going to strengthen, like, the next model of Teslas are going to, there's going to be a feature where if you key it, it just, you hear, like, in Elon's voice.
Oh,
Like, yeah, like, whoa.
oh, shit.
Oh, the old elbow. Okay, that did absolutely nothing. I don't know. I think
That's fucked.
Can you make a car key proof? Ooh. She's like, I was gonna go home and
You know
wash
what?
my hair. But
Watching this is like, you see how many deranged people there are.
too many.
Because I'll tell you, like, there's Teslas everywhere. I drive in here, there's a whole bunch of Teslas.
There's a lot of
Teslas.
Ubers that are Teslas, especially in Texas.
Did he just wipe the dog poo on it?
That would be creative. Or teach your dog to pee at the car. Wow. Was that a poop smear? I think it is.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's hardcore. The dog's like, hey, I didn't say you could do
That looks
that
like
with my poop.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Is it Brooklyn?
Or even Manhattan, like a brownstone.
Oh, it's Jersey City.
Jersey City. Stupid. Unbelievable. Well, you know why these people are doing this, because they weren't raised in with good parents to teach them better, I think.
Yeah. I do think that they...
This one's putting a hot dog and bread in the windows. Oh, that's good. Like if you have a little kid whose hand is in there.
Yeah, they have auto return, so if it senses something's there, it's gonna start to come back.
Not a
down
hot
and
dog,
stuff.
though.
Yep. It's too soft.
See, kids, don't put your bread in the window.
Don't put your penis in the window either.
Don't put anything you won't miss. Wow, this was illuminating. Thank you, Fealty. Please buy Adam's book. Buy the bundle. Buy both books. Adam, where can they follow you online?
I have a YouTube channel. It's at wrong_speak. I do some political commentary and things of that nature. I also have my Twitter, same handle, at wrong_speak. And my Substack, adambcoleman.substack.com.
Ooh. Subscribe to all of that. Did we get a super chat from Russell Hall? Yeah. I can't read it. Such small. Damn it. Kanye changed his name again.
At
He
least
did?
every time I do some sort of live stream, there's at least one, usually it's several Kanye comments. Everybody thinks I look like Kanye.
Really?
Yeah. I remember
Okay, maybe a tiny bit.
I've heard it. Quick funny story. I went to Milan and I was with Michelle and an Italian friend out there, and we're just walking, and this guy comes up, he's Kanye.
You're like, yes, it's me.
I was like, even around the world.
That's great.
I've had it in Turkey, Italy, yeah, a bunch of places
And
throughout
you're
the
like,
United States.
yes, buy my book.
They're like, you don't like the Jews. No.
You're like, I don't, but I'm also not Kanye. You don't like the Jews.
This is actually before. This is before the Jew thing.
How cool.
Before we go, would you want to do your final thoughts on after the election? Because last time you were on the show,
Right.
you talked about, it was just before the election. I think it was October 27th.
Mhm.
So it was right before the election. And you were talking about how Kamala's people were talking about how the black male, demographic, if they didn't
all
vote
the
for
blacks'
Kamala,
fault.
then she would lose the election. And now here we are since then. Like, what your thoughts are on that now that you're returned here?
Yeah, it was a narrative for a little bit that what's wrong with black men, and I've talked about this before. Like the Democrats have this entitlement to the black vote. So if they lose 5%, they lose their mind, right? So I can't remember the percentage difference. It was more dramatically seen for.
It was
for
more
black
than
men.
5 points.
Yeah, it was more than 5 points. It was more dramatic for black men versus black women. Excuse me.
Why do you think that is? Black women still loyal to the Democrat Party.
So I think it's the same reason for all men who are drifting away from the Democratic Party. It's because the Democratic Party has become a misandrous party. They like weak men, subservient men, and they like talking down to men. And they like gay men.
And they're it's like they use them. They're very emotional.
Yeah.
Like that seems like their primary tactic to lull voters in.
Yeah. But that type of treatment, especially, and I think I wrote it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I wrote articles when this happened, when Barack Obama scolded the black men for questioning why they should vote for, just like any other person has a right to question why they should vote for anybody, and insinuating that it's coming from a place of misogyny and not wanting a woman in charge. Mind you, quite a lot of black men grow up with a woman in charge of the household, so it's not a foreign concept to them.
Right. They'd be like, oh yeah, this looks normal to me.
Right. So it's that kind of condescending attitude towards men that exists in general, but especially there's a bit of a gatekeeping that is specific towards black men. And so just like the smallest amount of dissent drives them insane.
Wow.
Losing 10% of white men doesn't bother them nearly as much. Losing 5% of black men, they go insane. So,
I don't want a woman in charge. No thanks. Sorry. I've worked for too many women to know that it just doesn't go well. I've been fired from all those jobs.
I don't have. I mean, I'm fine with it to work for a woman.
I don't feel like you work for me. I feel like you work with me.
I'm very happy with my job. Very, very happy person.
I think, yeah, I mean, I work with multiple women in important roles. A lot of my editors are women for the publications I work with. So I have a lot of respect for women who are in particular positions. I just wouldn't vote for Kamala.
No, she was the worst,
That's
absolute worst candidate.
Yeah.
They just really got stuck.
Like completely winging it.
Mm-hmm. They pulled a whole thing out of their ass. They're like, well, this is what we have to do to keep all of Biden's money. So here we go.
Right.
She was relieved to have lost. She really was.
Yeah. Yeah. That was quite literally it. If it had nothing to do with the donor money, I think they would have tried to choose somebody else.
Yeah, maybe Newsom or somebody. Who knows?
No, even Newsom. Nobody who actually could possibly win a presidential election would choose to run for president in 3 months.
Oof. Yeah.
They just wouldn't do it. I don't care how much name recognition they have. They wouldn't do it.
Yikes. It really just had to be her.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And then she can't say, she had to play this game of, well, she's going to be different, but at the same time saying that everything that Joe Biden did was good.
She was cornered. There's no way she could have answered that without throwing him under the bus or herself.
Right. And so she can't completely throw him under the bus. Like, all this probably, if I was to be some sort of strategist for the Democrats, they should have pressured Joe not to run in the first place and not wait until he had a horrible debate.
Why did they have to wait? They wanted to humiliate him.
No, I don't even think it was that. I think if someone believes their own bullshit, it's that kind of thing. They know this man is taking naps half the day and uppers when he needs to do a performance. When they saw him on stage, everybody, you and I, we're saying this man can barely hold together. He's falling asleep all over the place, all over the world. And I'm like, what did you think he was going to look like when he finally goes up against some competition? Because remember, he didn't primary.
Right.
He didn't go up against anybody. So here he is, first time on a debate stage. And even Democrats were like, what the fuck is this? This is bad. And it's like, yes, we know it's bad. You've been lying this entire time. The media's been trying to cover it up. saying like, "Oh, he's everything's perfectly fine.
He's sharp. Everyone says
He's sharp as a tack," as he falls downstairs as he's walking up. It's just like, what is going on?
The stairs really got him there.
That's
in the
right.
end.
Fell off the bike. Like he just, it's sad to see, someone experiencing elder abuse, but that's what was going on. It was elder abuse. He wasn't running the show. Somebody else was. And had this man believe that he should attempt to run again, he barely made it.
Oh, Dr. Jill was there dangling a pralines and cream over his head to get him to do anything.
That's right, Joe. Like she's like the puppet master.
Yeah.
That's right, Joe. You could be president again.
You just have to answer all the questions.
Did I do good this time?
Yes, you did. Here, sip your Metamucil.
Can I get more pudding?
Oh, poor Joe.
With a child.
Junior, thanks for the 2. Bring back Biden for 2028. Yes, dig him up. Oh my gosh, poor guy.
His strongest competition is Jimmy Carter.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, it was good to see you again, Adam. This
Likewise.
is so great. I'm so proud of you. My God, not 1 but 2 books. Can they pre-order it, or do they just have to wait till it comes out?
No, they can pre-order it on wrongspeak.net or Amazon, anywhere. It's available for pre-order. Yeah, they can get it anywhere they want.
Amazing.
Oh, and the audiobook should be coming out very, very soon.
Ooh, so if you're more of a listener, you could listen to Adam's soothing voice as you drift off to sleep.
Actually, it's not my voice. It's Peter Feliciano.
Peter's soothing voice.
Yes.
I know Peter.
You know Peter.
Why'd you pick him?
He picked me. Isn't that how it works?
No, he has a fine voice.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to the chat for comments and questions, and thank you to Adam for being here. Everyone, buy his book. Adam, should we do that? Should we do high fives?
Yeah, you can
Should we
do
do a high five at the end
That's
of
a
every
good thing.
episode?
I'm the first high five.
Yep. This was great. Thank you, guys.
You missed a high five there. It would break everyone's heart if you didn't do the last high five.
Yeah. All right, guys. This was fun.
This was good.
We'll see everybody next time. Thanks for watching NightMayr and Mayr. NightMayr.
Mayor.
NightMayr.
Mayor.
Mayr. Mayr. I need liquids for my mouth. This was fun. Thank you, guys. Bye.
I hate goodbyes.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Evan.
Goodbye, my darling.
Goodbye, Rorschach.
Goodbye, Eric.
Goodbye, Willie.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye, yogurt. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye, David.
Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Ranger.
Goodbye. Goodbye, bro.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Anderson.
Goodbye, Clem.
Goodbye, brother.
Goodbye, Colonel.
Goodbye, old friend.
Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, Simba.
Goodbye, my friend.
Goodbye, Parsifal.
Goodbye, my son.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, buddy.